Of Too Much TV. I'm your host, Hound Dog Buck 50.
And I'm your other host, Dirty Sandwich.
As you can see, Dirty Sandwich, aka Trap Music, is back in the building. We're glad to see you back, Trap.
Yeah, man. You know, I was on a hiatus, sabbatical, man. Sometimes you got to take some sabbaticals, you know.
You got me with the sabbatical. I knew hiatus, but
hiatus, sabbatical.
I guess that's the same thing as hiatus.
Yeah, symmetrical.
Yeah, sabbatical.
When it's on an intelligent level.
Definitely.
Yeah. So basically,
well, today, actually, we're talking about first of all, the Born Legacy 4 had went down this weekend.
Okay.
And one of the premier battles that people were looking forward to was Av and O-Red.
That's right.
Unfortunately, Av wasn't able to show up. He had a death in the family, lost his sister. So I definitely shout out to Av.
Yeah.
And
shout out family.
condolences, definitely.
Condolences.
And Av was on a podcast a few days ago, which is pretty much leading up to the topic. So he spoke on it. He said that he's just putting it out there. If somebody says something about his sister, he's going to snap.
Yeah.
So that pretty much leads us to where we are now. Battle rap and crossing the line, or is there a such thing as crossing the line?
Or should there be?
Or should there be?
Exactly.
I already have my take on it, but I'm gonna let you speak uninterrupted, and then I'll go for mine.
Well, I feel like definitely. You know, battle rap is one of those things where there's really no rules. But when it gets totally out of control, rules has to be set forth. Like for instance, there was a lot of physical fights in battle rap. Cats can't take what the person's saying to them, so they hit them or whatever the case may be. And I remember when Math hit Dose, right? Then Math hit
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, boy, did he hit him.
And then Disaster hit Math, and it was like it gets down to a point where it gets out of control, and you have to start. That's when you have to start creating rules. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody want to get into any physical altercation. And when things get physical, you know what I'm saying, if that person ain't get that last hit, he gonna want that hit sometime during their career, you know what I'm saying? And so things can get out of control. So there's reason for rules. It's like when you could see when one thing I like that Smack did was when he banned Matt from the URL. When he banned him from the URL, it hurt him. You can see it hurt him, right? And he was begging to come back because saying that was his stage, And then when he finally came back, he had to hold his composure. Well, we see that ain't last too long. Eh? You know what I'm saying? It's like
you don't know what's gonna happen with Matt.
Hey man,
to this day, he doesn't really think it's a big deal that he did what he did.
Yeah,
it is. I don't know.
And now it's gotten to the point where there has to be borderlines to anything, even in boxing. There's borderlines of boxing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't always like that. There was one time where you fought until the person was down. That had 15 rounds. And then it started getting less and less, and it's like because you can't work people to death like that. But for battle rap, I think that there definitely needs to be certain like threshold points that that no one should go apart. I mean, to really break it down, in a situation of death in the family, we know it's not exempt from battle rap, like to talk about somebody dead in your family. But I feel, just my take, right? I feel like if it's recent, if it's something a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, okay, and you say something about it, all right, because you probably got over that. But if it's something recent, man, within a like yesterday to a 6 month span, man, don't even go there. You know what I'm saying? Because You don't know the emotions of that person at that time. They might still be grieving. You know what I'm saying? And then anything could pop off. Like, back in the day, like if I spoke about your mama, you know what I'm saying? And we were just joking. I spoke about your mama and I was winning the dozens, right? They could come to a point and be like, all right, man, let's get off of mamas, man. All right, all right. He's letting you know I got to my threshold. And then you continue and continue. And next thing you know, I see like, yo, get off my mama, man. I told you to bow, bust you in your face, because he couldn't take it no more. And I think that that's the same thing when it comes to death in the family, man. You gotta, hey, you're taking a chance. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that anyone should talk about anybody about death if it's too soon, man. It should be like at least a year span, man. Don't it, you never know, man. And then the way this generation is nowadays, hey, I don't want to talk about nobody. You know what I'm saying? And liable pull out a pistol and go after you, over some shit being said. So what you think on the matter?
Well, like I said, we already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. My shout out to Av, man. Condolences. Um, I feel in a way about that's the topic, and I know what I'm gonna say is gonna rub some people the wrong way. For one, because of what I'm saying, and two, because of Av, because Av is well received. Av is like that guy that you went to school with, and you see him in the cafeteria, you see him in the store.
Yeah, he's cool.
You like him, and a lot of people like Av, so they're gonna take it the wrong way. But it's not. This is not reflective upon Av. So I want people to understand that this is not about me attacking Av. This is just about how I'm looking at this whole thing from an objective.
Yeah.
Because I have to look at things from let me disconnect myself from the person and how I just look at this whole thing. My thing with battle rap is this, or anything that you go into a situation where certain things is already going on, and you're kind of like at the mercy of what's going on. Like back in the days, for those who watch basketball, if they're old enough to remember when the Michael Jordan era, it was a lot more physical.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys would literally, bad boy Pistons, they literally take you and throw you down to the ground, body slam you, and pretty much got away with it.
Yeah.
Now in this era, when you do that, you can do it, but it's going to be a fine, of course, and you're going to get suspended. So when those type of plays are committed in this era, players will scream for foul or whatever, and what a lot of the old school players would say, well, in my day, these guys are soft because in my day, but what they have to realize is those guys are playing according to the rules that are now. And maybe if they played in that era, they wouldn't have cried because they already knew that they wasn't going to get that treatment. So what I'm saying is, when I look at battle rap, I look at the time that we're in. Like when I got into battle rap, I watched the Arsenals talk about people's dead family or whatever. So I already have my mind geared to like, when I get into this is what the fuck I'm dealing with. Now I know everybody's not going to say that, but I know that there's some people capable of taking it there. So I had to prep my mind to just be like, you know what, this will happen. It's just like being in boxing. If your eye is bleeding, you may have some competitors that say like, nah, I want to beat him fair and square. I'm not going to hit him in his eye. But it's going to be a lot of people say, fuck that shit. His eye's bleeding. I'm going for his eye. Because now I can make him bleed more. And what I'm looking at is, I personally don't really like all that shit about your mother and your father dead. Since I really don't like it, but I accept it because it's the era that we in. So my whole thing is, I feel like it's just like in a job. People in the street, their rules are different from people in corporate America. When you're in corporate America, you have to sort of be dictated to a certain degree. They tell you what time to come in. They tell you what time to take your break, and you have to sort of just eat that. So now so imagine going to your job or going to a job, and they do the interview, and you say, "Look, man, if they change my break, they tell them they can't change my break. They're gonna tell you we can't guarantee you that because that's how it is." And it's kind of like in battle rap. I understand. Like even Good said, like I don't want nobody talking about my daughter. My whole thing is when I say stuff that on the devil's advocate side, it's not that I'm saying F your daughter or F Av's sister. No way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I'm looking at it from objectively, like you got in this, and now this is when you have to realize it can get real. Me personally, yo, if you say something about my sister, I'm gonna eat that, but I'm gonna come back the next round and I'm gonna say something to make you wish you never said nothing about my sister. And when the battle's gonna continue, but I'm gonna make people walk away with the impression like, you know what? Don't even say nothing about that motherfucker family. It's not even worth it because you're gonna lose. Because it's like being in a boxing match. Somebody hit you in the head after the bell. You can just get off a dirty one and hit them behind the head and the bell. You got even. Now the fight continues. As opposed to like you just lose it. Now the fight's over. Nobody got their money's worth, and everybody's sitting there like, what happened? You know, I feel like it's a fucked up game, but you have to kind of. It's just like bars are part of this era. So it's like somebody coming from another era where they didn't have bars, and they saying, well, back in my day, but you got to realize this is the era that's in now.
Yeah.
And this era demands that from you. I don't even have a problem with the physicalness to a certain point. Pocket check, I don't like it, but I understand it. So I'm going to let you slide. So it's just like basketball. You understand that there's going to be some physicality. But then there's also a point where you're like, okay, you know what, you went too far. If you start to make me feel like physically threatened, I might have to, you know, rebuttal that. Yeah. But I don't have a problem with you saying nothing. I'm not saying I wouldn't be hurt. I'm just saying I feel like at that point, once you say something, I'm a certain age. I'm 46 years old. You know, so my mom didn't have me when she was 15. So you do the math. You know what I mean? So a person can take shots. You know, they can Google your mother is this age, that age. But you know what? I'm like, I'm cool with that.
I feel certain situations are warranted. Like when let's go back to math. When he did what he did to Dose, that was at that point in time. That was, you know, I didn't fault him for doing that. But when he did it to Sirius, I did fault him for doing that. That didn't
have to happen.
Yeah, exactly. See, when something doesn't have to happen, it's a different situation. You know, what disaster did to Math now, you know, it's like, come on, man. Like, we could tell that was a setup.
Yeah, it's premeditated.
You know, it was definitely a setup, and, you know, but, you know, sometimes the bully, which we know that Math is in the game, sometimes the bully get tried by another bully. You know what I'm saying? and the bully might fight another bully, right? And they hate each other for the rest of their life, right? Or sometimes the bullies, they get together. You feel what I'm saying? Now, two bullies, I know growing up in Brooklyn, if two bullies got together and his crew got together with his, man, that was just pure trouble, man. That was bad. That was bad news. Because you didn't want, you already had this bully on this block, right? And you know you couldn't walk on that block.
Now
you know what I'm saying? You gotta have this bully on this block, but then there were certain neutral areas you could go on. But when these two bullies come together, yo, man, it's like, now I gotta deal with double the strength of that, you know? I mean, if Math and Disaster did decide to get together, that would be a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? It would be something different. Put it like that. Okay, you know, he got his knockoff on me, blah, blah, you know, and they know what I'm about, boom, 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 but they got together. That would be, and then you're dealing with East and West Coast coming together on that level, you know. Battle rap is battle rap. Battle rap, you know, it's kind of like street fighting. In the street fighting, there's no rules. You know, basically there's no rules. But I feel like with battle rap nowadays, because we don't want to destroy what it is we're building, you know what I'm saying? We want the building to get built before it even get unfinished. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like there needs to be some rules, man. There need to be some things, not only for like that situation, but just a whole lot of other stuff. Like that I really can't come up with right now. But you know, you need to look at it for what it is. Like what's the other thing we're talking about? Deposits.
What that?
The deposits.
We'll touch on that.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. We're gonna touch on that too, talking about deposits. But like I said, I feel like when I heard Av say what he said about not saying nothing about his sister, and I get it. And but what I also see from that is by you saying that, that means you also acknowledging that you know the type of game that you're in. That's what even
that's
to even
true.
cause you to say you understand what I'm
That's
saying?
facts.
It's kind of like you going to work
Yeah.
late and but then you go there like they better not say nothing to me. So you already know they probably gonna say something to you.
about
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that they right, but I'm saying
like this battle rap.
yeah, it's just like
There
back in the days. You know, now they got you if you hit somebody in the helmet, they penalize you. But back in the '70s and all that, you knock somebody's helmet off, and it was like whatever. I'm sure they had guys that wouldn't take a cheap shot like that. They just tackle you and go about their business. But you had to realize back then, if you go across the middle, you might come across one of them dirty motherfuckers that's going to try to rip your helmet off your head. And all you can do at that point is eat that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a tough situation because I know where he's at mentally. And we all have something that we dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you also have to look at it like, you know, in the situation that I'm in, there's going to be. It's just any situation that you're in. There's something that reminds you that the situation is not quite in your control. You get a car, right? And they say, you know what? You don't get a payment, your first payment for 90 days. For those days prior to the 90 days, you got to figure you're going through a couple months without getting a payment. So for a while, even though you know it's 90 days, it can actually feel like you may never get a payment. But then when you get that first payment, it's like, oh shit. The reality check hits.
Yeah.
I got to pay for this motherfucker. It seemed like I was riding for free.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of battles where ain't nobody going to really go at you like that. But you're going to have a wake-up call. Like,
you're going to have one guy that like just come in and then
you like,
you know, push your buttons.
This guy's
it's kind of like that relationship you in where you got that one girl that know how to push those buttons and, you know what I'm saying, and then you go off, you know. And I think that, you know, when Av said it, he was saying it with some, you know, real feelings like, yo, look, I'm just letting you know. It was more like a warning. Like, you know, I know what battle rapper, I know what it is. I know what it entails. But if you go there, I'm just telling you, anything can go down. And he's letting it be known, and everybody who's watching is seeing it, and like, well, yeah. And let's say he say something, and then something go down, right? And he just react, right? Well, he did warn him and say, hey, you know, if you did say something about my sister, this is what was gonna happen. There's gonna be repercussions, you know, and that's why I think at that point it's like, you know, that can change battle rap, you know, for many reasons. You know, if something, let's say something do go down, right? That can change it. That can change the game because you can have in a contract, okay, if somebody passed away, don't bring that up, blah blah blah, and so forth and so forth. Now, bringing up personal situations, that's battle rap, you know. But like I said, the part about someone just dying, like, you know what I'm saying. This is like a perfect example. What if Clips would have said something about Rex's nephew? That might have changed. That battle might not have happened had he said something. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a mutual respect. First of all, there's two Harlem cats, right? And Clips knew his nephew, right? Now, what if Clips knew his nephew, but decided to use that, you know, and let Rex know later, yo, it's just battle rap, man. And he was like, yo, but you was wrong for that. Nah, and then now they got a personal beef because he took it that way. But Clips saw the situation as like, you know, I knew his nephew, you know what I'm saying, and you know, I'm gonna stay away from that, you know. And he even said, hey, yo, you know, when Rex said that, he's like, yo, you know, peace, R.I.P. to him too. So it's just a respect. When you're dealing with the dead man and you're dealing with somebody's family, because some, y'all could end up being best friends, right? Great friends, and then just because of that, y'all can become enemies. You know what I'm saying? And see, there's a line, but we got to keep battle rap, you know? And then outside from that, we need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel some type of way about something, be like, yo, you know, I just did that to, you know, to get the crowd to win the guy throughout all the punches, you know what I'm saying? But I think that when it comes to that, man, ever since sensitive situation. It's kind of like okay, I'm gonna throw another situation. Let's say your girlfriend was pregnant, and we all knew she was pregnant. We seen her up there on stage with you and so forth, right? And then she has the baby, and she loses the baby. You know what I'm saying? And then a cat says something about that. Come on, bro. Like there's just certain things you just don't do. You done lost a child. You feel what I'm saying? Certain things, yo, I wouldn't even go there. Let's do the bars, let's do the punches, the schemes, but certain things, man, yo, it's disrespect. Now, disrespect is part of the game, but I just think when it comes to situations like that,
Yeah,
you better think about
obviously that what you just described is a unique scenario.
it, you know.
But before I out of it, I would just say this. That's another thing that you kind of put me on to. Is like you have to kind of look at things too. Like if you bring your girl, you bring your mom, you got to realize that you can be at risk too because you're bringing them in the crowd.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't like a situation where say sometimes a person will bring their girl, but then they have that chip on their shoulder, like, or they trying to insinuate like, don't say nothing about my girl. You should let her home.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know,
you know the
risk,
what that entails. Yeah.
Because now you were literally involving her in the battle,
Exactly.
whether you realize it or not.
Exactly.
You know, so if your chick is not, if you not tough like that, and she not tough like that,
exactly,
it's not a good place to be, because you got to have thick skin when dealing with this. Now, at the same, not to interrupt you, but if the rules was the opposite, if they turn around and said certain things can't be done, I would agree for that too. Because now it's saying like, okay, it's a new era. Because that would mark a new era.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that. But I'm just going by
what it is now.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's my whole thing.
Yeah. You know, I respect one person I do respect is Daylight and his girl. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Daylight already sat down and be like, yo, they're gonna talk about you. You know what I'm saying? And that's something you gotta deal with, you know. and you know he already crazy as it is, so I don't think anybody can say anything to him or her that that he can't take.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? If you could take it, it's good. It's like bringing your mom. That's why I don't see nobody bringing their moms to these battles, because the one thing, like I said, when we were young and we played the dozens, you said anything about somebody mom, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That was a wrap. You know, imagine you bring your mom and your mom is big. Do you know how many things can come out of that? And then the crowd is laughing, and then your mom, you don't know how your mom gonna take that. Yeah. Now when you see your mom react a certain way, now you hot because you didn't think that. Yeah, you thought that you were able to handle that, but you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things you got to really think about doing before you do it. You know.
So I would say I would wrap it up by saying this to the people following. What do you think? I mean, do you think there's a such thing as what we just said as crossing a line, or do you agree that you have to sort of accommodate the era of battle rap that you're in and just sort of put your big boy pants on and take it on the chin? But this is just one of many things that we're going to come at y'all with on Too Much TV. So we can't even begin to discuss what's going to be next. But all I can say is if you miss one bus, just stare at the stop. Another one's coming. I'm Hound Dog Buck 50.
And I'm Dirty Sandwich. And this is Too Much TV.